Hello everyone. Today's session will be on advanced hard surface texturing, scene management, and planning. What we know from scene management and planning, it means the thought process. Before we can start any asset, we just need to think how we will texture it. So the steps, how which we need. How can we start the texturing? Let's say that we'll take an example of a vehicle. We'll do a vehicle texturing today. So what exactly the vehicle is? That means which vehicle you want to choose. Let's say a construction vehicle or a military vehicle. So we are choosing a construction vehicle or military vehicle. So following the concept, these are the points which I am going to cover up today. So the following the concept and observation. So before starting anything, you need to observe your concept very clearly, collecting various real life references and textures. So if you are texturing a vehicle, you need to see lots of real life references, which I will explain you later in the chapter. Understanding the color scheme. So every vehicle have its own color, which it shows through which we will know what vehicle it is. Breaking down the surface according to the color, panels, materials, shapes, and volumes. Next point is understanding the layers of the textures for reference. So these will be the layers I will cover up in the chapter later. What are procedural textures, ISO maps, and how to use in your project to quickly enhance the output, combining them and the output. So let's start it today. Following the concept and the observation. Observing the concept. So if you are texturing it for some other person's project, so he will give you a concept. So he will give you that this is the kind of vehicle which I require you to make. So one of the initial and most important as well, by observing the concept carefully, you will come to know what is required to do. So sometimes when we texture, we overdo things. So that's why the concept comes here, which is more important. So our concept can be a real reference that is downloaded from internet or any other sources. That is, you can, if you are single-handedly controlling this project, means it's your personal project, then you can paint your own concept or you can download it. It's up to you. So I'm coming to our next point, collecting references and textures. So as just like the concept. So let's say we have a concept of here what a military vehicle, a military vehicle over here and a construction vehicle over here, and there is a sketch concept for elaboration. So for from this concept, we are clear that this is a construction vehicle and this is a military vehicle. So what more do you need? Those are references. So what now here the references comes where collecting or viewing a lot of real life references gives us an idea on overall about your asset. So the asset which you will start texturing by seeing, by observing these references, a lot of reference from the internet and various sources you have. If you see a lot of references, you'll come to know, yeah, this detail I need to achieve in my project. So these are the things which I need to achieve. So that can be, you will come to know about the color scheme, weathering. Weathering means how much a vehicle is used, how much rust, how much damage it has. So damages, smaller details which are missing in the model, like nut bolts, cracks. So when you will get a model, it is not like that you will get a very detailed model always. You need to enhance it by texturing, by adding some nut bolt details, like you can see in this vehicles. It has some nut bolt details and all those paneling and everything. So everything you won't get in model. You need to do something in texturing also. So these are the things, like sometimes you can get a flat surface in this tires. You won't get this in model. So you have to do this in texturing. So and by seeing the references, you'll come to know about those. So why the reference is so important. So what my personal view is, when I start a project, I download or means outsource in-source a lot of reference from everywhere. Means I see a lot of reference that will give me a guidance how to texture it. So panels, irregularity, and so on. There are a lot of points you can see in texturing and by references. Now, our third point, understanding the color scheme. So today we have taken a construction vehicle and a military vehicle. So what do you understand by the color scheme? So see, these vehicle, this construction vehicle have a yellow and black. So from a distance, if you see this, yeah, you will recognize, yeah, this is a construction vehicle. And from a distance, or if you see often, very often you see a military vehicle, yeah, you will come to know by the colors, yeah, this is a military vehicle. So the color is one of the most important aspect of texturing. Color makes the object look attractive, and a particular color gives an asset its identity and more recognizable. Yeah, more recognizable. That means, yeah, this is, you can know this is a construction vehicle, this is a military vehicle by that. So other than these, each and every details have their significant color respective to their materialistic properties. So what that means is, if you see this surface, it is not a flat yellow. It has some like this rust details. So you can see a rust have a different color here. So dark brown color and scratches. Okay. So every color has its own identity. So you need to follow the references, so which will help you in adding a color scheme to your asset. So example, if we are texturing construction vehicles which have a generic and color scheme of yellow and black. So I've told you earlier. So if you see a construction vehicle, which it has a black and yellow color schemes, that is a basic, which you see it from far, you'll know, come to know, yeah, this is a construction vehicle. So some construction work is going on. So, and same as for the military vehicles. Now coming to the fourth point. So breaking down the surface. Breaking down the surface means whenever you see a reference, you will break down the surface according to the color. Yeah, this you should be doing this before texturing. So this will help you. So you will decide the color first. You're breaking down the surface in your mind, and you will decide the color. Yeah, this is a construction vehicle. This will be a yellow, or a military vehicle. This will be a green, bottle green color. Then next to the color, there are panels. There are a lot of panels and paneling in the a vehicle. So when you see a reference, you can see these panels and all those. So you have to break them down. So it can happen like, if you see this reference here, this part is a metal part and this part is a wood. So this is very important. The color is same, but in this panel, the material will be different. So this comes when you breaking down the surface panels materials. So as the same, you will come to know there are in a vehicle you will see same colored parts with different materials. So maybe let consider these in this these the place for the driver will be made out from the outside. Maybe it is not a metal surface, or and this the object which is used to means work heavy duty things, those will be like metals. So these are the difference. So breaking down the acid means when you see it, you will be able to differentiate you your approach towards the vehicle before texturing the shapes and volumes can sometimes play a distinctive role. So when you know that this is a painted metal, so that should have this kind of scratches and all those. So and the dents and all. If a metal will always get a dent, or if it is a plastic surface, if it gets a damage, it will get crack. So these are in the few things you need to plan first, and those are very important. It can cause more weathering, more scratches. Panel gives us how much displacement or sculpting work required to make things more realistic or match closely to our concept. So as you have seen in earlier, so let's say if you got a model, you didn't got this all these details. So by looking at the references, you will understand, no, we need to work this much. You have this much of work in it. So until unless we do that, until unless we add these displacement details, add these nut bolts, cracks, and the panels, it it won't look like that much like a military vehicle or say a construction vehicle. And the most important among them, the materials give them properties like shine, rough, transparency, color, and also you will know that it is made up of like bare iron, painted metal, rubber, glass, plastic, etc., etc. So this is quite simple. Like whenever you see a vehicle, you will just recognize, yeah, these are the tires, these are made of rubbers. Yeah, this body has a painted metal, and now this chip offs and this scratches. You can see another paint layer underneath it, and underneath that you have a bare metal or you have rust. So these are the breakdowns you have to think in your mind before start a texturing. So that will be easy to achieve that goal. So now come to our sixth point. Understanding the layers of textures. Now you know how much work is there in the displacement and panel wise work, and you have broken down the image of the vehicle in your mind, so you know what you need. Now, if in a construction vehicle there are some layers, so you what you see in the reference is this part. So this is this part of the construction vehicle. So you will see all together of the dirt, of the decals, of the paint, of the bare metal and the rust. So to break them down even further, I have arranged this image. So as realistically we will think, if the vehicle will pull off all the layers in our mind, that let the vehicle we will pull off all the paint layers, every rust layer, everything. So what will be the last layer? It is a bare metal. Okay, then comes the rust. Slowly coming forward, we have a paint, then we have some paint decals, paint damage layers on the edges. Now some decals, another paint layers to so various symbols, and some dirt over it, and the dust, and the final image you see generally you see outside. And achieving these details, damage details, you will need some alpha. So those alphas are like these black and white maps. These black and white maps will easily help you out to get rid of the paint wherever it is needed, get rid of the decals wherever it needed, just by the value of black and white. So white means the full value and black means the zero value. The simple calculation we have in our all of our 3D softwares or in a texturing software. So we'll come to an asset for further illustration. So you'll see a vehicle over here, a concept vehicle we have. So now Let's start with a construction vehicle. So we have all the colors of the construction vehicle over here. You can see. So now I will break them down in front of you how I managed how I planned and how it came out. So before coming to it, I have some images. So this, according to the reference, the image you saw there in the PDF. So this vehicle is also made out of a base metal. So you will take one base metal first. So this is the most important thing. Naturally, if you think there is a base metal, and then on the base metal, this is let's say let's consider this is a iron. So iron must have rust in it because it has been used for years, a lot of years. So now there will be a paint on the top of it. So we have painted it, and along with the paint there would be rust because there is always nothing is constant. Everything, you know, have a destruction. So we have rust for that. Now the decals. So we have the decals over top of it, the secondary paint layers, and now the damages. Slowly, layer by layer, if you add those, will come to a better result. Now in the file, I will show you. See, see here what we can see is the paint layer. Sorry, you need to see the base metal first. I'll show you the base metal. See, now the base metal iron. Let's say the base metal, and these are some procedural I have used. I'll come to that point later. What are procedurals and black and white alpha maps? So this is my base layer, and this is my paint layer. So now I'll turn it off for a while. See, a paint, uniform paint. So by this we are getting, yeah, this is a vehicle. This is a base color as a simple vehicle. So by seeing our references, what we come to know is our vehicle has a lot of details, other details also, not only the base color yellow and the decals and everything. We have rust, we have oil, we have dirt, we have dust, and a lot of things. So we need to add it layer by layer. So you have seen the base metal, and now you will see the base color, base paint layer. So this is the paint layer. All the paint jobs are done here. So I can show you the further breakdowns of that, how I did that. Slowly closing up everything. So first I took one base metal, base color. Then I have some color variation difference. So in the reference also you can see there are a lot of colors involved, not only a yellow color or black color is there. So now the tire and some color variations, color corrections are there. So whenever you see a vehicle, uh, it is outside, so it will get weathering. So there won't be any uniform yellow color in the overall vehicle. There would be some desaturations on the top because of due to the sun, due to the rain, and all the weathering. And now the another paint layer, the decals. So this is how my base color layer is made up of. Closing that. Underneath that, this can't be the vehicle, so it should have some damages and everything, and the lower bare metal layer should come out. So so this layer is there. Now see, it has some damages and damage details. Somebody have holded it for a long time, maybe some ropes maybe tied over here, so that's why the paint got eroded from there. And especially the edges, you will see the edges gets maximum number of weathering and damages. So maximum damages are in the edges. So those are the areas where the damage is maximum, and the in the center areas those are well covered. So there are less damages. So this is how I planned the things, and in real life, this happens actually. So now the rust comes. So even if you paint a vehicle after prolonged usage of these, especially the construction vehicles are used in all weather conditions, in rainy seasons, and it involves a lot of dust, in water splash and everything. So it will have rust into it. So I have added a rust. It's very procedural, but to show that there should be a rust layer also. Now some stand. The stand are metallic, that's why I've added a different layer. Now there is a dirt layer. So where it is going outside, when you are taking your vehicle outside, it will accumulate some dirt everywhere, especially in the tires, especially in the lower areas, it will have the dirt. So it is important to have the dirt layer separately. So you can control it, or you can turn off whenever you like. See? and and all these layers are controlled by these black and white maps. So what I discussed over here, this black and white maps, and we have specific these alpha maps for specific layers. It's not like we are using this edge edge breakups for the dirt. We are using this edge breakup specifically for metals, painted metals. So now comes the dust. So other than rust, there will be dust also. So we can't see the dust with our plain eyes, but when we see a surface, after some times when we leave them outside, we'll see a lot of dust accumulated on the surface. So that those dust should be included also. So you have to think realistically. So what are the things that involve in real life? If you take a vehicle outside, or if you have a construction vehicle, even now texturing also. So now I'll show you this is the uh, construction vehicles. Now I'll show you the military vehicle. So it's all about the color scheme. By seeing it from the distance, yeah, this is yellow color, and this is a construction vehicle that looks like a construction vehicle, and the color scheme comes now here. So now we'll turn off this and turn on this. See, now if you see, this is the military vehicle. What's the color scheme? You will see the base color over here. Yeah. So one thing, this dirt and dust may vary according to the vehicles. Means a construction vehicle have a different kind of dirt and dust. So we can remove some of them, the rust and all those, because the military vehicles are well maintained. So it will have lesser rust. So I'm turning that off. Now you can see. So these are some layers also. This is the base color. This is the height. Height you can't see it now, but if I take a fill, you will see closely we have some height details. I don't know if you can see it or not, but these are some height details over here. Now the speckar. See how the speckar varies. This all white part is for greater roughness. So when I don't have all these layers, only have the base color, we'll have we can exclude these dirt and dust and show the base color. And these all are happening from the alphas. Sure. We have some dirt inside of it also. So I'll close them up. See the base metal. It has some roughness variation. Not a. I've took some grunge layers for roughness variation. So that's why it has some black and white both details. Now I will show you what are alphas. See how it looks when it doesn't have any dirt and all. So now we will talk about what are ISO maps, and one of the most important maps which are used to designate the amount of transparency or translucency of the texture maps in the layer. So this is a layer system which you see over here. So I want this layer to be more transparent over the lower layers. So I will have to use one alpha map. So I will show you with some basic example. I'll take one fill layer. Let's say this have yellow color like this. Let's consider it as our paint layer. And we have another fill, and here in the layer properties, let's say, okay, let it get saved. Yeah. So we have a lesser roughness for the metal. So let's consider this is a metallic surface underneath our paint layer. So we'll name it as metal. We'll name it as color. So here comes the ISO maps or masks. So we have some masks, predefined masks over here, or we can use some from our gallery also over here, grunges gallery. So we have a lot of textures over here. So we can take one of this. So let's say we'll take this one. So we'll take a black mask. So we don't want it all over the surface. That's why we'll take a black mask. So it will be easy for us to reveal it in some places. Wait, I'll take a bitmap. Grunge. See, this grunge say, let's say it has some values. See, it's all up to the alpha, all up to the black and white. See, now this is more darker. So you will come to know about from this one also. But this is grunge. I'll show you something from which is more contrast, which have more contrast, like this one, grunge map 004. I'll take a bitmap 004. So we have it here. See, we'll tile it up according to what we need. See, it's nothing but this alpha is reacting over the surface. You can see the black is obstructing the metal layer. The black is obstructing the metal layer, and the white is showing off the metal layer. And see, you can see these alpha doesn't have only white value, it has gray values. For that gray value, you can see it is not completely that metal surface, it has some paint over it, and some places it's totally white, so you can see the full metal on the top of it. So this is the work of the alpha. So this is how a bitmap works, and now I will show some predefined alpha masks which are very useful. You can get the output. So we will have to take one edge damage. So we will take one, let's consider edge EDGH, gun edge. Yeah, this one. Let's say, oh my god, this is a bit slower. Yeah, yeah, see how it is reacting the edge. So these are predefined. That's why they will work on the edge, and it will calculate according to the surface. It will calculate according to the surface of this object because due to the maps in the substance painter which we bake first. So now you understand the metallic alpha layer. Now I'll show you another example of these alpha layers. Why I'm showing these alpha layers? Because these are the key layers for applying the all these. I'll show you the images. All these details one by one on the surface. Means like this decal, like the rust, like the oil and everything. So this is why this is important. So I will close it up and I'll show you with an dirt layer. So what how the dirt layer is, the dirt layers are more rough. So and these have some colors scheme, like now the color schemes also come over here. So all the aspects which I mentioned in the in that PPT will have the importance while you are texturing it. So let's say we have a dirt of this color and the dirt are more rougher. So we'll make it on the rougher side. Let it be rough. Now we will use one smart masks or smart ISO layers. So we will have to use one One of my favorite is this moss. Let's take this and add it. This is so simple. See, now these are coming on the edges also. Avoid them on the edges, closing of the curvature. The curvature is what maps the edges of the object. So if we turn off the curvature, it won't be, the dirt won't be there in the curvature. So the dirt, basically the dirt doesn't accumulates on the edge. It always accumulates on the inner surface. So we have to take that in mind. Now we'll turn on all the layers. See, this is a basic example, but this is the idea. So now with this, you can increase the dirt and everything, how much you like it. So see, the dirt is increased. So if you are not pleased with that only one paint, I can show you. Welcome to base color. Right. We can take another fill. So let's say this is the decals this time. So for the decals, what we'll do, let's say we have a black colored decals and does it have a height information? Yeah, it has a roughness information. Let's say this is more rougher. No metallic information will be there. And now comes the masking. We'll give it a black mask. How we achieve the decals is we have some predefined alphas over here, which you can use it from here. See, if you select it, it comes to your brush. Let's say we'll take a bigger one. Yeah, this one. And we want this in the top of our model. See, just by clicking, we'll achieve that. The information of the layer. See, this alpha is already defining that the white part will be stamped over the surface. If we take a mask, black mask, and just take this alpha anywhere like this, it will be stamped over the surface anyway because it has a white information. So this is how alphas work. Now we know all the layers. Now we have done all the texturing work according to our plan. So we'll coming to the point of output. So let's come to the point where we can get an output. Let's render the construction vehicle. Now it has all the dirt and all. It is taking some time. There's a lot of layer information in it to buffer. Yeah. So yeah. Now we have this icon over here to render the output directly to see, yeah, how it is coming. See how the surface, how the paint layer, how the metal layers are reacting with light. This only happened, this will only will get a good output if you plan. So I will show you some render outputs. See, so very easily with planning we can texture a single vehicle, but with two color schemes, which gives it a two type of characteristics, like one construction vehicle on one military vehicle. So this is planning. This is how the planning helps us in texturing. You should always have a planning, because without a planning you can't texture. Will feel lost at a time. So this is the importance of the planning of and the scene management. Scene management. If you have seen that what I did in the layers in this 3D software, how I arranged the scene and how these alphas helped me achieving my goal.